From the Cardinal Television Studios, I am Caitlin Murphy with your Fisher News Brief. Deadly wildfires damaged or destroyed more than 250 buildings in and near eastern Tennessee's resort towns of Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. At least 3 people have died, and more than 14,000 people were forced to evacuate the southern Appalachians mountainside as about 14 fires rage. Mary Maloney reports.
Out-of-control wildfires forced thousands to flee. Some evacuees have to drive through the flames to get to safety. More than a dozen fires threaten the Great Smoky Mountains of eastern Tennessee. But instead of seeing the serene mountainside, people feel hot flames and stinging smoke being pushed by strong winds.
The power went out, so it was very dark. The smoke was so thick we couldn't breathe. Our eyes were stinging, so we just grabbed a blanket and took off running.
We just watched a building go down in flames to the right of us, and then we pulled in front of another building that wasn't on fire yet. But the fireman came and got us, and I don't know who he was, but I thank him so much.
The fires damaging or destroying homes and businesses.
Personally, I think I've lost my house, but, things can be rebuilt.
It's difficult to go out into a community and try to protect and serve others when your own property and everything that you've worked for is burning down. But that's what these men and women have done for the last 24 hours.
As the firefighters fight the flames, those in shelters wonder what the fires will spare.
The things I've known probably don't exist anymore. I can just close my eyes and have that memory in my heart. Pray for us. That's the one thing I know that will work. God will take care of the rest.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
Days after a frightening attack at one of the nation's largest college campuses, investigators are seeking to pin down a motive for the alleged assailant's violent actions. Karen Kaitha is at Ohio State University in Columbus with more.
Authorities have the who, and today they will spend most of the day digging for the why. And investigators have been looking at social media posts and also an address where the suspect lived. Abdul Razak Ali Artan was an Ohio State University student of Somali descent who transferred recently from Columbus State. And university officials Monday said he was the perpetrator of a violent campus attack.
The suspect drove his vehicle into a group of pedestrians. There were some injuries that resulted from that. The suspect then got out of the vehicle with a knife and began cutting individuals in the area.
The question now is why? Federal law enforcement officials say they are looking at Facebook postings, purportedly the suspect's grievances about attacks on Muslims, and a reference to Anwar al-Awlaki, the radical American-born al-Qaeda cleric. The writings, they say, posted close to the time of the attack. Authorities, however, caution against rushes to judgment. Meanwhile, the university is crediting one of its campus officers, 28-year-old Alan Harushko, for his quick response. The officer shot the suspect when he refused orders to drop his weapon within minutes of the start of the attack. Ohio State University President Dr. Michael Drake said preparedness was key in this not being far worse.
Every year, at least, we do an extensive tabletop exercise with senior staff, and then we orient students about what to do in case there's an awful circumstance like this. And it was good to see that people responded as we wished that they would.
And last night, prayers and thoughts at a candlelight vigil.
Everybody here is praying for those who were attacked and even the family of the attacker who died.
And when we arrived here on campus yesterday, this area behind me was taped off. That barrier has now been removed and classes resuming as scheduled here on campus today. At Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio, I'm Karen Kaitha.
Outgoing Vice President Joe Biden will be honored on the Senate floor next month by senators from both sides of the political aisle. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid are among the lawmakers who will be featured in the tribute. Senator Chris Coons led the charge to honor Biden. Coons holds the same seat from Delaware that Biden held for more than 3 decades before becoming vice president. The tribute is scheduled for December 7th, and a Biden spokesman said that the vice president will be there. The musical Hamilton just broke a big sales record, even after calls for a boycott. Thanksgiving's week is normally a huge week for Broadway, but Hamilton generated $3.3 million in just 8 shows last week, setting a new record according to the New York Times. The Times reported Wicked previously held the record. Trump supporters recently called for a boycott of Hamilton after a cast member gave a monologue directly to Vice President-elect Pence. The cast member asked his administration not to forget them. And that's all for today's headlines. I am Caitlin Murphy for your Fisher News Brief.